Hey all, it's Rafi, and today I'm playing a player rated 2200 here on Lee Chess, and looks like we have a exchange-ish version of the Caro Kann, some sort of with exchange variation, where he started with c4, and now I will capture here. And the way I like to play this typically is just maintaining my d5 knight and playing against this isolated queen pawn, which will be my primary point of play in this game. I will just get my pieces out, trade off as many pieces as I can, and just play play against the ISO. So now I will where to put the bishop? Um I guess we can put it on the most active square here on b4. Why not? We have to worry about the check here all the time, of course. There's going to be the check idea, but now that we castle away, we won't have to worry about that anymore, hopefully. If he takes on d4, we'll take with check first and then pick up the knight back up with our queen on d4. And so yeah, we will try to trade as many minor pieces as we possibly can, and then try to maintain a queen and rook to pressure this d4 pawn in the endgame. So ideally, I would like to play so there's the Greek gift sacrifice idea possible now, of course. If I just play knight c6, bishop takes, king takes, knight g5 check, king here, back to g8, and then queen h5 could threaten a checkmate. But in this case, I feel like I can play knight to f6. But in that case, he might just start with taking the knight first, though. Takes, and then take the knight. But then I can take with the queen, and if check, king here, queen here. That's some complicated stuff. I have faith that that doesn't work right now. Bishop h7 does not work in this position. I do need to play h6 soon, though, because it will work very soon here. So I think just playing h6 at this point. I don't want to make any of these pawn weaknesses. That's the thing. I don't want to make this a target, because then he can play queen here and then boom, just crash. And that's basically what he's going for in this position, is just a quick attack on the king side. So I want to be very careful not to allow that to happen. Should I play b6? I guess so. Why not? I mean, I'm just, like I said, not really convinced this bishop h7 really works right now. Um, I think bishop h7, king h7, knight g5 check, king back, queen h5, knight f6. Hits the queen and guards h7, so he has to start with this first. Takes, check, takes, check. In that case, then there's no knight g5 because I'll just take with the queen, so that doesn't really work out very well for him, I don't think. Now here I can take on c3 and give him the the hanging pawn structure, but I think I am going to not do that and instead draw the bishop back to e7, I believe, or d6. What's the better square? I think e7, because on d6 he will be able to take my knight, and that would not be good. He's definitely calculating this every move now. That is for sure. The possibility is there every move. So now he's officially threatening, h7. And I think my response to this should be to bring the knight back for now. To defend. I don't want to move these pawns unless I have to. So I'm trying to keep from playing h6 or g6 type of moves. If bishop g5, then I will maybe play h6. But I would like to avoid playing this as much as possible. So he defends the pawn on d4. I will use this time to develop my bishop to b7. I'm a big believer in just quick development, quick developing moves and trying to follow the opening principles anytime possible. So now he's orchestrating a d5 push very soon. I can tell that is what he's doing. I don't know when he will play this, but it will come very soon here. I'm not sure if I want to play rook c8 or if I want to commit to h6 right now. I think I should just develop and not worry about that just yet. Oh, he really, really wants to get into h7 now. I think I am forced to play either g6 or h6 at this point. So if g6, knight takes h7, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, check, king h8. The reason I'm considering g6 is because I want to be able to play rook e8, bishop f8 and bishop g7 and fianchetto of that bishop. h6 I don't like because it just gives a hook. But I need to calculate accurately to make sure that these tricks don't work. So knight takes f7. There's always king takes, which will then stop any kind of mess with the g6 pawn. G6, knight h7, even king h7 actually works in that position. So I'm not too worried about this. I think I have enough defenders all around my king to be okay here. I just quickly need to play rook e8, bishop f8, bishop g7, and I should have an okay position. So he just goes back. I'd love to play this move, but I can't because of this pawn. So I think it just makes sense to just naturally keep developing pieces at this point. Just trying to think if there's any tricks in the book. I think he might play bishop h6 here, try to trade off the bishops, which I would be okay with. I mean, if the dark square bishops are gone, this move won't really hurt me that much because my king will guard these dark squares and I'll have my queen as well. So I think I just have to start trading more pieces, and if bishop h6, bishop f8 really helps me because it just trades another minor piece, and my king is not really any type of trouble. So my opponent now goes into a long think, trying to identify his plan. I think he's gonna choose. Oh, I was gonna say he was gonna. I think he's gonna choose to play f4, f5 type of stuff, but I guess he didn't choose that. How can I initiate some trades at this point? Is the question. I could get the bishop here, but then bishop g5, bishop g7 kind of puts me in an awkward situation with my queen, though. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to instead improve my knight here. Let's get this knight to c4 and open up this rook. Ooh, there's bishop b5. That's kind of going to be an interesting idea here. Oh, I didn't really think about that too much. I guess I'll come back. That's kind of a waste of a move, huh? Yeah, I should have given this bishop b5 a little bit more thought. I should have played maybe a6 first or something before playing this knight move. Could play b3 also, but I think he'll go for bishop b5 here. Okay, knight e5 makes sense. He doesn't want to allow knight c4, understandably. I will take time to play this move now. To safeguard my b5 square and these light squares on this diagonal. So he's really going after this pawn now, okay. If b5, then maybe he'll play a4, I guess. So he's going to definitely try to cause a lot of problems on this pawn now. I'm almost thinking if I should just come back and play rook a8, but that just seems so passive. Who would want to play a move like that? But if b5, then a4, I can just take. He's really crashing into my position in that case. Not liking that too much. I think I'm going to unfortunately have to play this rook a8. I don't like the look of b5 at all. It would just cause a lot of weaknesses in my position that I'm just not so happy with. Here, I'm just kind of cramped, honestly. My position is really cramped, and I'm not really liking this too much, to be completely honest. I just feel really like my pieces are kind of... Now, this move does help me because it now frees up my pieces, so I'm not going to think too much before I just grab this knight. It kind of alleviates some of the pressures in the position. So that's good. That really helped me quite a bit. Let's get the rook back to an active square again. If he goes back, I guess I'll go back. Not really worried about my dark squares. I have the bishop to protect. Light squares are fine. This bishop is kind of pointing at nothing, basically. Any kind of piece exchange definitely will help me, so I'm going to continue to provoke those kind of piece exchanges. Maybe I'll get the knight to c4 now, next move. I really like the idea of the knight on d5 as well, by the way. If I could just do that, that would be great. So I guess I will just go back. Really need my knight on d5. How do I get it there very quickly? Long journey. c6, b8, here, here, here. It's too many moves. I feel like he'll get something going before then. This a6 move really is hurting me quite a bit now. I thought it would help me, but now it's proving to be a liability. I have to constantly keep babysitting this pawn. And I don't want to play b5 because a5... Actually, after b5, a5, b4... I don't know. I feel like his knight would just pop into e4 and start getting these cards. His knight might come into e4 next move anyway. This knight is awkwardly placed, that's for sure. I gotta fix that. I think we should pressure this pawn again and improve the bishop right away. So he offers another exchange of pieces. I am happy with that, actually. But I don't know if I want to do it under his terms. I don't have that much time to think. I gotta just make moves here. Oh, no, no, I just dropped a pawn. Ah, bishop b7, knight b7, queen takes a6. Oh, he missed it. Thank goodness. He could have won the a6 pawn, but he missed it. My biggest objective now is to get my knight here now. Oh, this is looking real bad now. This is looking really bad. Knight's about to pop in here now. Oof, that's not going to be fun at all. Yeah, I'm in trouble for sure. There's no doubt I'm in a lot of trouble with this game. Should have played f5. I got to get rid of this threat. And now bishop f6 even actually is going to win now on the spot. Or that move. Ooh, that's interesting. I thought he was going to take my queen first. Oof, gosh. It's looking real bad. Real bad for me. King g6, really, and that's it. King g2, and he doesn't have any problems, really. This pass pawn is just going to be super annoying now. Or that move works too. But now I can exchange, though. Try to create some space for my pieces here. More for my king, I meant. So now I don't have a choice but to trade off, which is fine for me, of course. I don't want to trade. But I can't take his rook. I'll get checkmated. This bishop is just so annoying. Crushing my position. Absolutely crushing my position. My king is just stuck. Permanently. Always back rank checkmate threats now. Try to grab a couple of pawns here as much as I can, of course. gosh. That's a tough one. That's tough. Now he's attacking f7, and it's very difficult to defend f7. Doesn't that drop the rook? I think he just blundered. Ooh, I wouldn't resign with so many few seconds on the clock. Personally, I would just keep playing even though he dropped a rook, but I mean, that just ends it though. That was a lucky break. Let's analyze real quick. So give the computer a few seconds to analyze first. Okay, so let's see here. I made 4 blunders. Wow. But I was a little bit more accurate than my opponent, it looks like. 52 average centi-pawn loss versus 74. Less inaccuracies, but more mistakes. Same blunders. So c6, 4, d5 takes. Here, actually, there's ways that black can try to hold on to this pawn. With queen here, check, bishop check. White can try to hold on to this pawn. It could get kind of annoying, like after this bishop check. There's a lot of theory and stuff that goes behind it. But in any case, he played the knight c3 move, which makes things easy because I just recaptured the pawn right back. So theory says to play, computer prefers a6, but most people play knight c6 or e6. I went with e6. d4. People just trade the... Okay, no, that's not true. They play bishop b4, which is what I played as well. The most natural human moves. Castle, all the top moves. For the most part. Knight f6, knight c6 is common. Knight c6 makes the most logical sense, developing another piece. Castle. And then what did I do here? I played b6. So is that a move that's played? Yeah, one person played b6, but bishop e7 is the most common. So now he can trade. But I feel like that trade only helps me though. If this happens... Oh, he has queen c2. Interesting. In between move. That hits this, this, and this. That's crazy. He'll take here and then... I guess then take this one, and then take this one, and this one moves away. Well, that's a crazy line. I didn't really calculate that. But good to know that b6 allows this to happen. So the main move should be bishop to e7 to stop this whole idea. So yeah, so he played a3. I then I think went back to e7. Okay, so this is critical. So this is a mistake. So why is it a mistake? I think because of the bishop h7 lines. So if I take here, oh man, this okay. So now he's threatening the bishop to here and then pawn here as well. So let's see. If I play f5, then what? Okay. Okay, then I play queen d6. And I have a major weakness now on e6, and he's going to capitalize off of that. So rook comes in and everything. Okay. Wow. Okay, good to know that I missed this tactic. This is a highly tactical position, really. Lots of easy ways. Natural moves can really get you in trouble in these positions. So he plays queen c2, and I just withdraw my knight. Bishop e3. And then I think I play bishop b7. Yeah, bishop b7. Computer prefers the h6 move. I think bishop b7 is also okay. Rook. I bring my rook in. Again, it likes h6 just to get rid of that whole idea of bishop takes h7, getting the possibility. But I kept not wanting to play that move unless I had to, because with all these pieces pointing towards the king side, got the bishop, the queen. I mean, the queen, the bishop. This. I was very scared that if I move any pawns here, anything like that, it will just create weaknesses around my king that he will then just crash through. Like if this move happens, for example, maybe there's a possibility of queen d2 followed by bishop takes here at some point soon. I was just really scared of those kind of possibilities. So just intuitively, I just didn't want to move those pawns. Rook c8. Still in theory. And very top games here. Anishgiri, Nepomniachtchi game. So now he can play d5 here. Okay, interesting. So if I take, he then plays this. Ooh. I have to go all the way back. Yeah, these positions are very, very tricky to play as black. Wow. I'm just realizing how much tricks there are in these positions. He plays this. Again, I don't play h6. I played g6 instead, which is second choice by the engine. Goes back. I improve my rook a little bit. Engine loves to go back to d5 and blockade. I went this way with the knight, which really allowed the bishop b5 move, as I was talking about earlier in the game. Bishop b5, rook f8. Yeah, that's just not fun to play that. But he plays this, and here again, I had the chance of putting the knight on d5. I think I should have done that, honestly. But I chose to play a6, but that became a big burden for me. The queen kept harassing this, and the computer wants me to play b5 here. But after b5, I was really worried of what happens if this move comes on the board. I guess I didn't consider this move too much, huh? This really pushes the knight into oblivion, and I think I would have been fine, definitely. But I chose to play a very passive move just to maintain the integrity of the pawn structure. I traded quickly, which relieves a lot of the pressure because I was kind of cramped. Rook came right back. Again, he could have pushed d5, but he doesn't push it still. I definitely think he should have pushed d5 as soon as possible. I go back again to defend. He activates the rook. I then start pressuring the d5 pawn, and then now he starts really getting a good position, starting with that move. So my major blunder was when I played this. I lost a lot of advantage. So here I just missed a. He had multiple things. He could have played d5, I guess, also, but he could have also just done this, I think, followed by this. And I'm just on a pawn for no good compensation. But he misses that chance, and he plays this, which allows me to take. But now my dark squares become absolutely horrible. So I'm in a lot of trouble now. It looks like I played the best moves, being in this trouble. He plays this, I took. And yeah, he should have definitely taken off the queens first or something like that. I feel like he should have done that. But he plays this. Queen type takes d5 is not really that good. Okay, I see. So by taking with the queen, he basically threatens checkmate in two. He's going to play bishop h6, and he's going to play queen g7, and I don't have any good ways to really stop that very well. It seems like. So after this move, I guess I'll play here. He'll trade. I'll trade, and this position is just horrible because he has this passed pawn that's going to just run down the board and queen. So that makes sense. Although neither of us, I think, were thinking about this in terms of just the in-game possibilities of the D pawn once that becomes mobilized. Although after this here, if he takes, I wonder if I could just take this way. But then he sets up this nasty idea of playing here and checkmating me, basically. Oops. That is, yeah, definitely going to be annoying. So here, and he still has d5. Wow. Okay, well, glad he didn't do that. Allowed me to take the queen, which still puts my king in a very, very awkward and bad place, but at least I can breathe a little bit. I activate the rook, but he immediately allows him to push. Yeah, this d5 was a very, very strong move, and I just felt like lost after this. But I try to be tricky. And then he allows me to just take the d5 pawn, which was so great when he did this. I was like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Now I feel great about the position. Even though I don't think that my position is fun to play because of the bishop. But now his pawn structure is really bad. And yeah, my king is trapped, but at least I can hang on. And I was going to grab a couple of pawns. I should have just grabbed the a3 pawn here, actually. I just realized like I didn't do it. I was trying to free up my king a little bit more. So it's not literally mate in one, but it's a forced mate in two. So h5 doesn't really help any. He still doesn't protect the a3 pawn, so he tries to do all this kind of stuff, which allows me to take another pawn. And he go here, and he brings this guy in, and yeah, I guess I could have just attacked the bishop, huh? But I chose to play a very passive one. And he just blunders his rook and just resigns. So hopefully you guys got something out of this game as well. Very instructive game for me for sure. Yeah, leave in the comments what you guys liked or didn't like about the game or what I could have done better. And I hope to catch you in my next game.